Hello, excellent everyone. My name is Tajmuz. I am a level 1 student at Ryan School, Islamabad campus. Today I am here with a new ChatGPT and topic name is respect your other people's so let's start the ChatGPT. Hello ChatGPT, how are you?
Hey there, I'm doing really well, thank you. I'm excited to help you out today. How can I assist you further?
Okay, ChatGPT, my first question is how do I usually react when someone is upset?
That's a great question. In general, it's helpful to approach them with empathy and patience, listen carefully to what they're saying, validate their feelings, and offer support. It's also important to remain calm and non-judgmental throughout the interaction.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is do I listen fully before responding to someone feeling?
Absolutely, yes. It's definitely best to listen fully before responding because that ensures the other person feels truly heard and understood. That way, your response can be more thoughtful and empathetic.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is have I ever ignored someone feeling why?
That's a really thoughtful question. It can happen to any of us at times. And reflecting on those moments is a great step toward growing and improving our empathy. If you want, we can talk about strategies to avoid that in the future as well.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is do I upload when I hurt someone university?
That's a really important question as well. It's natural to feel upset sometimes, but it's definitely helpful to take a moment, pause, and respond thoughtfully. Reflecting on how we react can really help us build better communication and empathy in the long run.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is do I approve it when I comfortable am I sharing my feeling with others?
That's a great question. It definitely helps to feel comfortable and safe when sharing your feelings. Building trust and finding supportive people to open up to is key. And it's always okay to take your time and share at your own pace.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is do I consider how my word might affect others?
Absolutely. That's a really important consideration. Being mindful of how our words impact others can make a big difference in communication. It helps to pause and reflect before speaking, and to consider the feelings and perspectives of those we're talking to.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is how do I handle grant from others?
Handling criticism can definitely be challenging, but it helps to stay open and receptive, try to understand the perspective behind the feedback and see it as an opportunity for growth. It's also important to stay calm, reflect on the criticism, and respond constructively.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is am I quite projecting some feeling?
That's a really insightful question. It's natural for everyone to sometimes guard their feelings or feel a bit protective. The key is to acknowledge those feelings and gradually work on being more open and comfortable sharing them when you feel ready.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is do I respect feeling even if I digest?
That's a wonderful attitude to have. Even when we might disagree with someone, showing respect for their feelings is really important. It helps maintain empathy and understanding, and it really strengthens relationships in the long run.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is how do I show empathy to other daily?
That's a great question. You can show empathy by actively listening, making eye contact, validating their feelings, and expressing genuine care and understanding. Also, being patient and offering support without judgment can really help them feel understood.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is what does it mean to walk in someone else's shoes?
That's a thoughtful question. When we talk about walking in someone else's shoes, it means trying to understand their experiences, perspectives, and emotions, even if they're different from our own. It's all about empathy, compassion, and be open to seeing things from another person's point of view.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is how can I tell if someone is feeling confident?
That's a great question. You can often tell if someone's feeling uncomfortable by noticing their body language, like avoiding eye contact, fidgeting, or having a tense posture. Also, their tone of voice or the way they respond can give clues. And of course, sometimes just
Okay,
asking them gently.
ChatGPT, my next question is how do I react when someone is sad but don't say anything?
That's a really compassionate question. In that situation, it's helpful to offer a gentle presence, maybe through kind gestures like a comforting tone or a reassuring presence. Sometimes just letting them know you're there and ready to listen whenever they're ready can make a big difference.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is can I react when someone is pretending to be okay?
That's a really thoughtful question. When someone is crying, it's often helpful to offer comfort and support, like a gentle presence, kind words, and a listening ear. It's also important to be patient and non-judgmental, and sometimes just being there quietly can mean a lot.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is how do I respond to someone who is angry at me?
That's a really important question. When someone's angry at you, it helps to stay calm and listen to their concerns without interrupting. Acknowledge their feelings, apologize when needed, and try to understand their perspective. Showing empathy and patience can really help to de-escalate the situation.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is do I ask people how they feel regular?
That's a wonderful practice. Asking people how they feel regularly shows that you genuinely care and value their emotions. It helps build trust and deeper connections, and it also creates an open environment where people feel safe sharing.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is do I ask people how they regularly without say anything?
That's a great point. Even without directly asking, you can show care through your body language, your attentiveness, and by being present. Sometimes just creating a supportive and open environment can encourage people to share how they feel naturally.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is how can I show I care without saying anything?
That's a lovely question. You can show you care through small, thoughtful actions like offering a listening ear, giving a warm smile, providing comfort through simple gestures, and being there consistently. Actions like helping out, showing patience, and simply being present can speak volumes of their own.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is when is it okay to give advice versus just listening?
That's a really great question. Generally, it's best to listen first and understand the other person's feelings and perspective before offering advice. It's usually okay to give advice when they specifically ask for it or when you feel that it would be helpful and welcomed. Otherwise, just being a supportive listener can mean a lot.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is how can I encourage someone to express their feelings?
That's a wonderful question. You can encourage someone to open up by creating a safe and non-judgmental space, showing genuine interest and being patient. Sometimes open-ended questions, gentle prompts, and actively listening without interrupting can really help them feel comfortable sharing their feelings.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is do I interpret others when they are speaking about feelings?
That's a really insightful question. Being aware of when we interrupt is the first step. It helps to practice active listening, making sure to let the other person finish their thoughts before jumping in. And sometimes just pausing for a moment before responding can make a big difference in letting them feel truly heard.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is how do I ask question to understanding someone feeling?
That's a great question. You can ask open-ended questions that invite them to share more, like how are you feeling about that? Or can you tell me more about what's going on? It's helpful to listen without judgment and to show empathy and patience, allowing them to express themselves at their own pace.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is can I state someone feeling to show I understand?
That's a really thoughtful question. You can reflect back what they've shared by paraphrasing or summarizing their feelings, and also validate their emotions by saying things like, I can see why you'd feel that way, or that makes sense. Simply being present, listening attentively, and showing empathy can really help them feel understood.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is how do I express the statement without hurting feeling?
That's a really important consideration. It helps to be gentle and empathetic, focusing on the facts and using I statements like I feel or I think to express your perspective. It's also helpful to show understanding and compassion and to frame your feedback in a constructive and supportive way.
Okay, ChatGPT, next answer. My next question is how do I talk to someone who has different verticals?
That's a great question. It's important to approach the conversation with curiosity and respect, really listening to their point of view without judgment, asking open-ended questions, and finding common ground can help bridge the gap. It's also helpful to remain open, patient, and empathetic throughout the conversation.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is what words make people feel respected?
That's a wonderful question. People generally feel respected when they're listened to attentively, when their opinions and feelings are valued, and when they're treated with kindness and empathy, using polite and inclusive language, acknowledging their perspectives and showing genuine appreciation all contribute to that feeling of respect.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is how do I notice if someone is let out?
That's a great question. You can often notice if someone is upset by paying attention to their body language, like changes in their tone of voice, facial expressions, or even subtle cues like a quiet demeanor. Also, sometimes listening carefully to what they say and noticing any inconsistencies or hesitations can help you pick up on their emotions.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is how do I stay calm during an emotional conversation?
That's a really valuable skill. To stay calm, it helps to take deep breaths, maintain a gentle and steady tone, and really focus on listening without rushing to respond. It's also helpful to acknowledge the other person's feelings, keep an open mind, and give yourself time to process everything. This can help maintain a calm and supportive atmosphere.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is how can I approach silence if I hurt someone?
That's a great question. One way to avoid silence is to gently acknowledge the moment, maybe by expressing understanding or asking open-ended questions to invite them to share more. You can also offer some gentle reassurance or share a bit about your own perspective to keep the conversation flowing. The key is to remain patient and empathetic.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is how do I tell someone their behavior hurt me without blaming them?
That's a really thoughtful question. One way is to use gentle, non-judgmental language, focusing on how their actions impacted you rather than accusing them. For example, you can say something like, I felt hurt when, and then explain your feelings. It's also helpful to stay calm, be specific about the behavior, and express your feelings using I statements. That way it keeps the conversation open and constructive.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is how do I respond to someone behind this?
That's a great question. When someone is upset, it's helpful to stay calm, listen carefully, and show empathy by acknowledging their feelings. You can also ask open-ended questions to better understand their perspective and let them know you're there to support them. It's all about being patient, validating their emotions, and maintaining a compassionate tone.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is do I click and without people who seem quiet or sad.
That's a really thoughtful question. One way is to gently check in with them by offering a kind and open invitation to share, letting them know you're there for them whenever they're ready. You can also create a comfortable environment when they feel safe and supported. Sometimes small gestures like just being present or offering a listening ear can really help them open up over time.
Okay, everybody, nice answer. My next question is how do I support
That's
people, someone who is never asked?
Absolutely, that's really important. You can help someone who's nervous by offering reassurance, being patient, and using a calm and friendly tone. It also helps to acknowledge their feelings and give them space to express themselves at their own pace. Small gestures of kindness and empathy can go a long way in helping them feel more comfortable.
Okay, everybody, my next question is how can I respect feeling in online conversation?
That's a really helpful question. You can start by acknowledging their feelings and showing genuine empathy, and then gently validate their emotions. You can also use open-ended questions to encourage them to share more and maintain a calm and supportive tone. Ultimately, just letting them know you're there for them and that you understand can make a big difference.
Okay, everybody, my next question is how do I respect parents when someone don't want it to talk?
That's a really meaningful question. It's important to approach the situation with empathy and patience and to listen to their perspective without judgment. You can acknowledge their feelings and express your understanding and also reassure them that their feelings are valid. It's all about maintaining a compassionate and supportive presence throughout the conversation.
Okay, everybody, my next question is how can I respond to someone anger conversation?
That's a great question. One helpful approach is to stay calm and listen carefully to their concerns without interrupting. You can acknowledge their feelings, validate their emotions, and then gently express your perspective. It's also important to remain patient and empathetic and to find common ground where possible. Over time, that can really help de escalate the situation and lead to a more productive conversation.
Okay, everybody, my next question is how do I show respect to people I disagree with?
That's a really meaningful question. One way is to actively listen and show empathy, making sure they feel heard and valued. You can also give them positive reinforcement, encourage their strengths, and offer supportive feedback. Sometimes small gestures of kindness, like acknowledging their efforts and showing appreciation, can really help them feel encouraged and supported.
Okay, everybody, my next question is how do I stay calm in an agreement?
That's a wonderful question. To maintain calm and agreement, it helps to really listen actively and validate the other person's perspective.
Okay, everybody, my next question is how can I de-scared and tense station? Hello, everybody. Can you hear me, everybody? Okay, everybody, nice answer. My next question is can I recant my own feeling clearly?
Absolutely, you can. Recognizing your own feelings starts with taking a moment to check in with yourself and really paying attention to your emotions without judgment. It can help to reflect on what you're feeling and why, and sometimes even journaling or talking it out can make a big difference. It's definitely a skill that grows with practice.
Okay, everybody, nice answer. My next question is how do my moods affect others?
That's a really interesting question. Your mood can definitely influence how others perceive and respond to you. For example, if you're feeling positive and upbeat, it can create a warm and welcoming atmosphere. Whereas if you're feeling down, it might affect the energy around you. Being mindful of your emotions can help you manage those interactions more effectively.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is how can I manage my function and plans of others?
That's a great question. To manage your own attention and help others stay focused, it's helpful to set clear goals and break tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Creating a calm and distraction free environment can also help. Additionally, using techniques like mindfulness or regular breaks can keep everyone's focus sharp. It's all about balance and consistency.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is how do I differentiate between apathy and pity?
That's a really insightful question. Empathy involves truly understanding and sharing another person's feelings, whereas apathy is more about a lack of interest or concern. Compassion comes into play when empathy leads you to want to help. So, the key difference is that empathy is about inaction, while apathy is a lack of it, and compassion is the action that often follows empathy.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is do I take responsibility for my emotional impact on others?
That's a thoughtful question. It's often helpful to approach it with self awareness and empathy. You can start by reflecting on how your emotions are influencing your reactions and then consider how the other person might be feeling. It's also important to communicate openly and mindfully and to be willing to adapt and grow from the interaction. It's all about balance and understanding.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is how do I know when to listen and when to give advice?
That's a great question. It often comes down to reading the situation and the person's needs. If someone is expressing their feelings or seems to need emotional support, it's usually best to listen and validate their experience first. On the other hand, if they're seeking guidance or looking for solutions, then offering advice can be helpful. It's all about being attentive and responsive to what they need in the moment.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is how do I show respect in everyday conversation?
That's a wonderful question. One way is to really listen actively, maintain eye contact, and show genuine interest in what the other person is saying. You can also validate their feelings, express appreciation for their perspective, and respond thoughtfully. Little gestures like nodding, smiling, or even asking follow up questions can make the other person feel truly heard and valued.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is how can I encourage people to share feelings safely?
That's a great question. You can encourage people to open up by creating a safe and non-judgmental environment, showing genuine empathy and actively listening, asking open-ended questions and being patient can also help, as well as sharing a bit about your own experiences to build trust. The key is to be patient and compassionate and to let them share at their own pace.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is how can I check with someone up without dismissing feeling?
That's a really thoughtful question. One way is to validate their emotions first by acknowledging how they feel and letting them know that their feelings are important. Then gently guide the conversation by focusing on positive aspects and offering encouragement while being mindful not to dismiss their feelings. It's all about balancing empathy with gentle support and understanding.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next question is how do I respond when someone makes a mistake?
That's a really important question. It helps to approach it with empathy and patience. You can acknowledge the mistake and focus on the learning opportunity rather than placing blame. It's helpful to offer constructive feedback and support and to encourage open communication. This way, you help them grow and build trust while maintaining a positive and supportive environment.
Okay, ChatGPT, nice answer. My next last question is how do I show friends when someone is emotional?
That's a beautiful question. To show presence, you can offer your full attention, maintain eye contact, and listen without interrupting. You can also use gentle gestures like a comforting tone or a reassuring touch if it's appropriate. Simple being patient, empathetic, and non-judgmental can really help the person feel understood and supported.
ओके ChatGPT। तो बस ये थी हमारे आज के ChatGPT। तो मिलते हैं किसी और
आपका
नई
बहुत
ChatGPT के
शुक्रिया।
साथ।
अगर आपको कभी भी कुछ दरकार हो
अल्लाह
तो
हाफ़िज़,
बिला
पाकिस्तान
झिझक मुझसे रब्ता
जिंदाबाद।